It's been a while since I made what I eat in a day video. Let's do it today, especially now that I'm breastfeeding. Welcome back to my channel. I am now 9 weeks postpartum. If it wasn't for wanting to breastfeed and having a good quality milk and lots of it, I would be on a very aggressive carnivore diet program. Probably I would be doing PKD. However, a good quality milk and lots of it is my objective, so I eat lots of foods many times a day, and I also do some snacks which are carbohydrates. During pregnancy, I was eating about 80 to 85 calories from animal sources, and that included a little bit of dairy. That I had to cut out because at exactly 2 months postpartum, I started feeling funny feelings in my joints, and my son developed eczema on his cheeks. So as soon as I cut out dairy, it took a couple days for my joints to normalize, and my son took about 2 weeks for eczema to clear up. So the only form of dairy I'm currently eating is a little bit of whey isolate, which I tested even prior to being pregnant was good for me and wasn't causing any problems. So I love my fake coffee, which is a little bit of a chicory root that I brew just as if I was brewing coffee, and then I'm adding egg yolk and some whey, lots of collagen powder and some butter, and I love the flavor of it. I love the experience of it. It feels just like drinking a latte, except that it doesn't have coffee in it. And I really crave that raw egg yolk. Sometimes I'll eat 2 of them, and it's just something I can't live without, especially now that I'm breastfeeding. I'm really looking forward to that raw egg yolk. I have a video dedicated to coffee substitutes for carnivores. I will link it in the description box, check it out. It's about 10:30 a.m. so I will have my breakfast. It will be really simple. 3 scrambled eggs with 2 slices of bacon, and I also have some sardines, which I am so looking forward to eating. I'll cook the bacon just so that I get enough fat, and then I will pour the eggs in. I don't really care for it to be browned, just so that I have enough fat to make the scrambled eggs in it. This is just about to be done. These are sardines in water. In olive oil, they'll probably taste better, but I have a bad reaction to olive oil. For lunch, I will make schnitzel, which is my most favorite way of eating pork. In different parts of Europe, schnitzel means different things, but typically it is made from pork. Where I'm from, which is southern Poland, you make schnitzel from ground pork. If you are cooking for yourself and for your family, and you yourself are on a very strict carnivore diet, to use the carnivore diet as a dietary intervention to reverse chronic disease, be sure to prepare the meat for yourself first, focusing on all animal ingredient first plus salt, then cook it for yourself first, and then add the seasoning and other spices that your family eats, and then cook it for them. This way, if you are very sensitive to spices or any other seasoning that isn't salt, it will not cross to your schnitzel. To make schnitzel, I will use 2 pounds of ground pork, which is 80% lean and 20% fat. I will use 2 eggs, but I will use 1 full egg and 1 egg yolk. and I will add also pork panko that will replace traditionally used either breadcrumbs soaked in milk and or dried Kaiser roll soaked in water that you will typically add to the meat. So if you don't have access to pork panko, just use 2 egg yolks and you will get the same consistency. For seasoning, I will use the Red Mount salt, and that is pretty much it for the carnivore version. However, I make it carnivore-ish for my family, and the traditional recipe calls for some browned onions, and I used 1/4 of an onion, medium-sized onion, which I fried in butter, but you can use any other fat as long as it's animal-based. And also I have some fresh dill. And if you really want to go fancy, there are some ground up freeze-dried vegetables here, without any preservatives, no sugar, no MSG, also from Red Mount company. And especially for my husband, I use black pepper. Okay, in a bowl, put all your meat in and go in with your fork to break it all up. Add 1 egg, and your egg yolk. Add salt as much as you like it. Then add your pork panko. I will add about 3 copious teaspoons. This will soak up some of the moisture from the egg whites, and if you are working on being in ketosis, that is an excellent and flavorful way to add more fat into your meat. At the end, go in with your hands and make sure all ingredients are nicely combined. And for the carnivore schnitzel, you are ready to form your patties, which will be about this size. Put them in the breadcrumbs. You can do it in the pork panko. I tried that before, but I prefer them this way. So they're ready to fry. So make the portions for yourself, and then you can add the rest of the ingredients for your carnivore-ish family. Use lots of fat and make sure that your pan is well greased and the temperature is high, like ready to sizzle. If you are new to the whole schnitzel cooking, then just go in with your fork, cut into the schnitzel and see if the meat is cooked enough. And there we have it, schnitzel is all made. It is really delicious. It is a great way to diversify your carnivore diet, and really if you don't like pork chops, you should like a schnitzel. It really tastes great. When it comes to snacking, because I do get very hungry in between the meals, and that's the result of producing all the milk, it takes about 500 to 800 extra calories to produce the milk to feed your baby. I will have some fruit, about 15% of my daily calories, and I typically eat dates, apples, pears and berries, and not all in one day, just alternate them just as my taste and cravings change. In the Middle East, it is a common knowledge that dates are good for pregnant women, that it helps with easy and less painful birth, and then thereafter you have less bleeding. And I continue eating dates, but I also noticed that when I eat dates, I have more milk. So I kept dates in my diet even though I'm way postpartum. I will have 2 to 4 dates a day, and then I will have either apple or pear, and when I eat any one of these, I will always peel the skin because that's where most of the oxalates are. And for dinner, I will have roast beef. Typically, it is my husband that prepares it because he is so good at it. The meat is so delicious, so tender that we don't even need to make any gravy. Basically, you take 1.5 pounds of roast beef. You need to season it, and it has to be well thawed. We mostly use salt and a little bit of black pepper. If you can't tolerate black pepper, don't use it. Then you saute it in Instapot from each side in a little bit of tallow. And then when you are done, you add 2 cups of bone broth of your choice. Could be even chicken broth if that's what you have on hand. Then put it on 1.5 hour pressure cooking. And 1.5 hours later, it is a beautiful roast beef ready to be eaten. When it comes to hydration, I mostly drink water, and I know when it comes to breastfeeding, you're supposed to drink as much water as possible, as much as you can tolerate. Just force it on yourself. But I let my thirst be my guide. I do add electrolytes to my water: sodium, potassium, and magnesium. And let me tell you this, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of sodium also helps you to make a lot more milk. Try it and then pump it, and you will see a massive difference. Alright, so this is a day of eating of a carnivore mom. Send it to anyone that just gave birth, wants to nurse, and wants to have a easy and swift recovery from the birth. It is a very nutrient dense diet that is optimized for milk production. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!